He's like really loud. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Today, I'll give a really quick video. Sorry, there's noise at the background. There's somebody like cutting trees or whatever the case is. So it's about noisy. I'm in the countryside, so bear with me. Hopefully you guys can hear me because there's a lot of noise in the background, like I said. But anyway, guys, karibuni sana. Like I say, my name is Kenya Revolutionary. I'll be bringing you this brief video. There's something I want to talk about. Something that I want to talk about. Like usual, I always have something to talk about. So karibuni. The topic, as you can see, like I said, I'll probably stay here for 20 minutes or 30 minutes because of the noise background. But I want to mention something based on my observation, what I observed today, yesterday, and the signs of things to come with regards to Kenyan politics. As you know, if you've been following this channel, I talk about Kenyan politics and world politics as it relates to Kenya. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe, share, like, comment, do all the good stuff. And if you've already subscribed, make sure you like the video and hit that bell button, okay? So anyway, let's get to the topic. Ruto is extremely dangerous at this point. He's vulnerable, but very extremely dangerous. President William Samoei Ruto is vulnerable now that Raila is gone, but extremely dangerous. I'll explain to you why. Just let's use today, for example. The body of Raila Odinga today was brought up, was transported to Kisumu. I believe the place was Jomo Kenyatta Stadium for public viewership. And Mamboleo, that is, okay? Mamboleo is kind of part of Kisumu, but, you know, yeah, it's Kisumu County. Let me just put it that way, okay? Not the Kisumu town center, but Kisumu County. Anyway, what I noticed, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, the first thing that I noticed that really caught my attention was the fact that the government of the day, Ruto's regime, deployed the army to undertake the security measures that was, you know, for crowd control, or if there's any kind of possible chaos that would break out. Usually, okay, this function is usually limited to the local police, or if they need extra help, they will get police from Nairobi or the neighboring, you know, Kisii, Kericho, whatever the case is. But it's a civilian occasion, such as a burial, the army must usually go there to just, you know, show their respect, as far as, like, you know, since Raila was you know, not a statesman, but, you know, he's considered a patriot or a big figure in Kenyan politics. The army will only come to pay respect, and usually the army is always reserved for head of states. Okay, so let's say if Ruto died, or any president or ex-president died, the army always pay homage as a former, you know, head of the chief of armed forces. Okay, but in this case, Raila Odinga, when his body was brought to Kisumu, the first thing that caught my attention was the presence of the army, the military, that were actually deployed to control the crowd. That's the first thing that I actually caught it. Now, this is not new. It also happened in Kasarani, because remember the previous day when Raila's body was brought to Kasarani, we saw that it was a mixture of, you know, the presidential police, you know, security detail. The military were also kind of involved in this, and also the police were actually involved with this. Now, remember yesterday or the day before, I told you that Ruto's last line of defense right now is the military, okay? I went through and explained to you how, you know, now that Raila is off the scene, you know, there's nobody who can actually come in and mitigate, okay, or mitigate any kind of or broker peace between the two factions, okay? He cannot step in and actually pacify the anger from the Kenyan people, of the Gen Zs, so to speak, you understand? So right now, he has to bring in the army. And I'll tell you why. Like I told you yesterday in my previous video, I told you guys that the army are brought in to help out the police. And if you're still behind news, the army is actually recruiting, but the recruitment is happening in certain areas of the country, certain areas that are deemed to be friendly to the president. Okay, the army are not recruiting in in Central Province. Okay, they're not. But anyway, let me get to the point here. Okay, now why is Ruto using the so-called Green Berets? I didn't even know Kenya also have an elite army force that is called Green Berets. You know, I only know of the U.S. Green Berets. You know, those are like the, you know, the Navy SEALs, whatever. You know, but I didn't know Kenya also have their own version of Green Beret. Okay, but anyway, so when Raila's body was brought in Mamboleo in Jomo Kenyatta, is it Jomo Kenyatta Stadium, whatever the case is, uh, the army showed up. There was a lot of them. They were having guns and all this stuff, their gear and all this stuff, looking very intimidating indeed. Which I found kind of, I don't know. I mean, do you really need an artillery of that sort to actually control a crowd that's actually there to mourn their loved one, their beloved son of the soil, so to speak? I felt it was an overkill. But there's a reason why Ruto is doing this. Okay? There's a reason why Ruto is doing this. Please take a moment before I go in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just starting to watch this, if you're watching me on X, follow me on X. If you're watching me on YouTube, like the video and subscribe. Please subscribe so we can get in. Support the channel, okay? So we can grow. But anyway, so here it is. This is what Ruto is trying to psychologically condition Kenyans to, okay? Now that Raila is gone and Raila will not come in with his staunch supporters, Raila will not be a factor, the person that Ruto will turn to or will have to negotiate with in order to control, you know, to have some semblance of peace or to pacify the Gen Zs. Ruto solely depends on the military, okay? And that is the message that he's trying to pass to Kenyans, okay? That is the message that he's trying to pass to Kenyans, that the military shall be used in case of it. Actually, this Raila burial, I don't know what's going to happen in Bondo, because I saw some guy was trying to make his way to Raila's homestead or whatever the case is inside the house, and they had to kind of, you know, push him away or whatever the case is. There was a little scuffle, okay? And I saw people pushing themselves into the compound. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is this, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades. What I'm trying to say is this: Ruto's regime is not only going to rely on the police to deal with any kind of insurrection, protest, public protest, picketing, okay? He will not use the police only. He will now expressly, overtly use the military to intervene in case of any kind of Gen Z protest or any kind of civilian unrest. Okay, this will go straight through the army. It is not going to be just the police. The police will be in the front lines, but the army will actually be doing the heavy lifting. And the army are only trained. Listen, armies are not trained to control crowds. If you know anything about army, they are not trained to control crowds. Army, the military is trained to kill, not capture, but kill. Capture ni ile kama wanaweza kucapture, but their main aim, they are trained to kill. Okay? So this is what Ruto is trying. This Raila burial was a stress test. This Raila burial is a stress test for the foreseeable future, the future rallies or public unrest or political protests that may happen in the future, which is expected in the next few days, if not weeks or not months, because already you can see the hashtag, you know, stop the cybercrime law that Ruto passed on the day that Raila passed away. Okay? And the Gen Z is already talking about tunarudi maandamano. We are going back to the streets. Okay? So Ruto, okay, is contemplating a possible popular people's protest. Okay? Karibu sana Lilian, Omondi, Joey. Oh, okay, Joey. Okay? So Ruto knows. I told you guys in the video a few days ago that I found it very interesting that Ruto went to Eldoret, the barrack in Eldoret, to speak to the members of the military in Eldoret. He could have chosen any kind of military base that we have or barracks that we have in Kenya. We have plenty of them, okay? But he chose one specific one that was in his backyard. And there's a reason for that. Now, let me go down and explain to you why Ruto is going to tighten his grip on Kenyans. Ruto will tighten his grip on Kenyans, okay? And there are 4 ways which he will try to do this. Remember, I mentioned the military, okay? There are 4 ways that he's going to try to do this, all right? Now, the number one thing that Ruto is going, Gitwangati, nice seeing you. 4 ways that he's going to do this, okay? Ruto, already these laws that he has passed, the 8 of them, okay? The bills that he passed that are now law. And let's not even blame Ruto alone. Ruto and the members of the parliament, because the parliamentarians had a huge role in this. They had to vote for these bills in order for it to pass. But let me just give you 4 main reasons, 4 main ways that Ruto is going to use to do what? To control the country. And he's taking his cue from China. These are the same things that were used in China during COVID. Remember? Number 1, the information control. Information control. Ruto wants to control the information about inatoka kwa mtandao and also in the media. That is the number 1 thing that he wants to use. That's why they passed this unconstitutional bill called cybercrime law. And there's a section on it which says that if you write something, okay, that the government deems to be problematic or criminal, okay, they at their discretion, okay, you can be charged 10 million or you serve 10 years in jail. Is that really reasonable? First of all, like Miguna put it on his Twitter, that's unconstitutional, okay? Because there is something called freedom of expression, freedom of speech. Even those AI images of Ruto wearing dresses or whatever, Navaki Juku, or whatever the case is, those are constitutional. 20 million, thank you, Gutungati. It's not even 10 million, it's 20 million. You see how ridiculous these laws are, okay? So the first one, I'll just tell you this, so I can move quickly. Like I told you, I will be very shortly, so you can get it. Like the video, guys, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Information control, that's number 1. Number 2 is digital surveillance. Digital surveillance is what he has already been doing with the help of Safaricom and every other. Remember when I think it was Ruto who was telling, well, not Alfred Mutua, who's that Mzeruzeru? Yule Mzeruzeru who used to work for Ruto as the presidential press head of the press, okay? They were trying to force every social media company to have an office in Nairobi, okay? That way, let's say if they come to my, if you're using YouTube and you're talking something that, and you're speaking of something that Ruto's government does not like, okay? For example, what I'm doing right now, if they don't like my content, okay? Ruto can simply go to the office of YouTube in Nairobi and tell them to shut down my YouTube channel, okay? So again, that's number 2. So number 1 is control of information, and you can see that on the cybercrime law that is passed, that is threatening the wananchi ati atawacharge 20 million, or you can say, or you'll spend 10 years in jail. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Number 2, like I say, is digital surveillance. Digital surveillance wanataka kukufuata. Unakumbuka vile Gen Zs walikuwa wanakuwa abducted? You are wondering, mazee, Ruto amejuaje pale naishi? You remember the story of Kibet? That kid that went to meet Okiya Mtata in his office. How was it tracked? Okay, they use all these phones. They try to ping you through your computer, any device that you use. Okay, so they will want to have information about your internet providers and all that stuff, okay, in order to be able to track everybody. So control of information, then digital surveillance. They want to see what you're doing on the internet. Unafanyanga nini kwa internet? Are you doing your unanunua ma Bitcoin? What are you doing? Okay, because that's a form of control. Okay. Number 3, the third one is psychological manipulation. And I will read your comments real quick. Okay, psychological manipulation. Ama zile zinaitwa psyops. Psyops. Let me give you an example of a psyops. Unakumbuka Murara? When he went to that ile hall, alafu alikuwa anajifanya ati amepigwa kavunjika shingo, sijui nini. That's the example of a psyop. Okay, that's an example of a psyop. Okay, ni drama ambayo it is being created. It's a crisis that a dramatic event that is being created by the government. Okay, it's a fake ninio. Inaweza kuwa terrorist attack ama watu wanapigana mahali, but it's fake because they want to pass a certain message. Wanataka waninio. For example, if Ruto wants to pass a law that is very restrictive, that will restrict or strip you of your individual liberties, they can have a psyop event in let's say Nakuru. Wajifanya ati watu wanapigana hapo, just a fake event ati watu waseme ati Wanandi wanapigana na Wakikuyu hapo Nakuru. Then Ruto can bring a law that says that ikifika saa 11 kila mtu akwae ndani ya nyumba. You can't leave your house after 5 p.m. in the evening. Unaona? That is actually violating your individual liberties because you have the freedom, the right to travel freely and associate with whoever you want. But they will use that event to say that it's a security issue. Ati tutafanya hivi in order to make sure that the Nakuru people are safe. So that's an example of psychological manipulation through psyops. And the biggest psyops that this regime is using is the political theater that you see is going on with the Gachaguas, Kalonzos, and the opposition. Okay, that's the biggest psyops that's happening. Like I usually tell you guys, watu they're in one wakogoro moja. They just play these games to confuse the people. But Ruto is pulling the strings. All right, the fourth one. They want to create a climate of fear. Climate ya nini? Fear. I told you, okay, how are they going to create a climate of fear? Nimekuambia, if you look at that mazishi ya Raila Odinga, what happened in the Mamboleo today, okay, what did you notice? There was a huge number of what? Members of the military. These people were armed to the teeth. Walikuwa wamevaa vest, bulletproof vest, wako na ile headgear, my helmet. Well, they have the big guns. They are wearing the army fatigue. Wako na ninio, then their knives on their ninio, grenades, na those intimidating cars, and they were marching in a line as if daring anybody to act a fool. Is fanya fujo wanted type of thing. You understand? So that is designed to do what? It is designed to put fear in your heart. I told you this event today and tomorrow. Okay? So ulisikia Babu Owino amesha tweet hapo ati kuna watu walikuwa wanataka kumchapa. Akienda hapo Bondo kuna watu wanataka kumchapa. And you saw the video of Atandi saying that kuna watu wengine wanajifanya ati hao ndio sasa kingpin. Wakuje waone tutajua kina kingpin ni nani, okay? So already you can see there's a climate, okay? They're creating a climate, an environment, an expectation of possible chaos. Understand? Ndio maana nilikuwa nakwambia this Raila Odinga burial, they knew that the people of Nyanza will be excited. You know, this is how people of Nyanza, that's how they mourn. They go out there, wanapiga nduru, wanaimba usiku, wanarukaruka, wanafanya vitu. You know, they do whatever the case. To somebody who might not know how the people of Luo Nyanza, mourn their loved one, you might think it's chaos, but it's actually not chaos. They're not killing each other. Okay? They're just mourning by masherehe na kila kitu. And I mean, there are people who believed in Raila like Raila was a demigod or something like that. So you can see the kind of enthusiasm. Disco Matanga and Rapt Independent. Yeah, Disco Matanga. Yes, you see that. I mean, you could see the clips. I mean, even in Loret, there was some clips of people dancing at night. Kondele, Mamboleo, of course, before the body arrived. So, but again, like I said, the heavy presence of the military men and women who showed up in heavy army gear, fatigue, equipment, all that stuff. This is the message they're sending to Gen Zs, because of course the NIS, okay, and all the intelligence in Kenya, they know that this, after Raila is buried, the topic will be the bills that were passed. These bills that are now law that are unconstitutional okay? They're unconstitutional. And they know that the Gen Z, just like the finance bill in 2024, okay? The Gen Zs will probably want to go back to the streets. So the fourth point I was making is this. They want to create an atmosphere of fear. Wanataka kuuzia uoga. Listen to me. The reason why I'm saying wanataka kuuzia an atmosphere of fear, like I said, like I started, Ruto is very vulnerable right now. Vulnerable. He's naked. The king is naked, okay? The person who alikuwa anamsaidia amekufa. But he didn't like the help from that person because the guy that was helping used to extort him. Now, how is he going to have total control and do this? Okay? Because now, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. Raila's position as the person who used to stop the oppressive regime of the day will have to be the Gen Zs, the people of the Republic of Kenya. They have to stand up. Gen Zs have to fill that void that Raila used to fill, we used to occupy. Unasikia? This will not be an individual. And I'm not talking about Nyanza kingpinship. Mambo ya Nyanza mambo ya Nyanza kingpin ya Babu Owino na wengine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if there's an issue. Remember, the one thing that we associate or we try to attribute to Raila Odinga was the fact that when Moi was, oppressing the people, Raila was seen. I mean, now hindsight is 2020 or whatever the case is. With the benefit of hindsight, we can say that Raila was actually part of the political class. But at the time, Raila built his name because majority of Kenyans perceived him as that guy who fought the oppressive regime, the colonial stooges of the day, okay? Whether it was under Uhuru, whether it was under Kibaki, whether it was under Moi, whether it was under the present regime, okay? That's how some people, majority of Kenyans, unfortunately, thought that he was the guy he was the only one who could actually stop the regime of the day from maybe passing something that people did not approve of, okay? But again, since Raila, time yake, his political influence ilianza kudidimia, Gen Z's proved in 2024, June 25th, that you did not need an individual like Raila to actually force the government to not pass this oppressive draconian law bill, the finance bill. Okay, so with that, it showed us that what I like about that movement, the June 25th, 2024, sorry, movement. Okay, the Occupy Parliament. It showed Kenyans that people can rise up and not wait for Raila Odinga, okay, to fight against an oppressive regime, to fight against all these repressive laws that keeps us in bondage. Okay, there's the land law that is also passed. It's just as bad as the cybercrime law. Go read it. It basically tells you what you can own, how you can own it, and all that stuff with the leasing and all this stuff. Okay, so these bills that Ruto passed during when we had the news about the death of Raila Odinga, I'm telling you, it will get people on their feet and back to the streets. And Ruto knows that. He knows and understands, very cognizant of that fact. That is why he passed them when everybody was paying attention to the death of Raila Odinga. They decided to announce the death of Raila Odinga on the day that these draconian bills were being signed into law. That way, the shock that will come with the news of the passing of Raila Odinga will drown, okay? Will drown the news about the laws that were passed, because they think a lot of Kenyans, again, this is like, it's Nino. It shows you how this political class think of Kenyans. They think Kenyans are stupid, okay? Wanafikiria watajificha wa pass hizo laws kama hakuna mtu anaangalia, okay? They pass them when nobody's looking, and ukiamka hivi unashangaa, okay, hii law kwa nini mnanishikia hii law na wewe hujui hiyo law ni nini? Okay, unajiuliza ilipitishwa lini, okay? And I'm glad finance bill really opened a lot of young people's minds, because now we are vigilant, at least for majority of us. Ni kama watu waliamka. Siku hizi law ikipitishwa bunge, we want to find out what's going on. Mbona hilo inapitishwa? There are people who are really watching everything that's being passed in bunge. That's the advantage of this what happened in June 25th last year. Sorry guys, I'm just looking at something here, so and I'll be back. Sorry, I'll be back. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is this in so many words, ladies and gentlemen. Like I told you, for those of you who are joining, please subscribe to the channel as I keep on keeping on. If you're watching on X, please go to my YouTube and YouTube channel and follow me. Subscribe on my channel. My name is Kenya Revolutionary, as you can see right there. Like I told you, these are the 4 things that Ruto is doing. Now, let's talk about Gachagua for a minute. I know you might be thinking about, why are you talking about Gachagua? Listen to me. It's all connected with Raila Odinga and all this stuff. Let me tell you about Gachagua very quickly, okay? Gachagua told us something very interesting, okay? Gachagua said a few, Gachagua said something very interesting. He told us a few weeks ago, he said that Ruto told him that he will, once he buys off or he deals with Raila Odinga, whatever that deal means, okay, he will take over ODM. He will do what? Take over ODM. Now, haven't you noticed or watched? Okay, Museveni is okay. Yagdev, I just saw Museveni is alive and kicking. He's fine. Museveni is not. Museveni hana shida. Nyinyi ndio mnafikiri Museveni hakuna shida. Museveni has no problem. But anyway, so let me tell you. Okay, let me go back to what I was saying. Gachagua told us that Ruto was planning to take over ODM. Ruto was planning to take over ODM. So mnakumbuka vile Gachagua alituambia? Mnakumbuka? Last week, was it last week or a few weeks ago, okay? Alituambia ati Ruto is planning on taking over ODM after dealing with Raila Odinga, whether it's paying Raila Odinga off or offing him. Okay? I don't know. We don't know. But here's here's the funny thing. Now, even before Raila hajaekwa kwa ground, Raila's body hasn't hit the ground yet. Look at the kind of division that is happening already in ODM. Okay, it's connected with what I'm saying. Everything is connected. Okay, everything is connected. So don't worry, it's all interconnected. Okay. Katende, where's Katende? Katende always is a friend of the channel. He always comes here. He's a Ugandan. Katende, if you're watching, please tell us any news about Museveni. I think he's still doing okay. Watu walianza news hata atuoli ameninio, but But anyway, Gachagua told us that it was Ruto's plan to kind of take over ODM. Now, listen to these ODM folks right now, how they're already split. I saw Casmuel. Let me use Casmuel and Opio and I as my example here. Opio and I came out and say that the next chairman of ODM, or basically the leader of ODM, should be Oburu Odinga. Okay? Casmuel, while he was in Bondo, was talking to the media, and he was also talking about, Oburu should take over from Raila Odinga. Okay? Atandi, I forgot his first name, Atandi, also was saying Oburu should take over from the position that his brother held. Okay? Now, already I told you guys before even they started making all these statements that ODM will be split. The old heads and the people who were put there by Raila Odinga, okay, who Raila Odinga negotiated for their jobs in Ruto's government. Because if you look at somebody like Opio and I, or Mbadi, let me just use those two, or Oparanya, or if these people are fired, if Ruto drops them, okay, if Ruto fires them, that will be the end of their career. They are not senators. Waliwacha hiyo their posters as senators and MPs to join Ruto's government. So nakumbuka. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like, please. Like the video, please. I need 100 likes at least. Okay? All right, so let me go on. The ODM is already split, and Raila's casket is not even on the ground. Okay, hajazikwa bado, lakini ODM is already split. Okay, there are those, if you notice, if you pay close attention, those who were depending on Raila's name for political survival are pushing for Oburu to continue to take over as the chairperson of the ODM, not chairperson, but the head, whatever the case is, whatever Raila's position was in ODM, mkubwa ODM, basically, okay? The reason why they're proposing that name, Oburu Odinga, not only because Oburu Odinga is Raila's brother, okay? Yes, Bruce, you're very right. I'll highlight your comments in a few minutes, okay? The reason why they're choosing Oburu to take over from where his brother left is because Oburu, number one, is proposing a continuation of this broad-based government beyond 2027 without a presidential candidate. Okay? Unasikia? Oburu wants to stay in this MOU that UDA and ODM absolutely a Jamwa 1982. Okay? Oburu wants the continuation of this MOU working relationship, whatever this deal UDA and ODM had, to continue, okay, past 2027, ama iendelee hivyo, wazidi kubaki kwa serikali. Okay, but remember I told you more than likely Raila was about to split from Ruto's this MOU that they had. Like I told you, remember when Raila Odinga said, who told you we will not be presenting our own candidate in 2027? Okay, that was a clear indication. It is as if saying indirectly that we shall be leaving this MOU, this working relationship we shall be exiting this political marriage we have with UDA before 2027, because UDA, of course, they have their presidential election, presidential candidate who is William Samoei Ruto, of course. So in 2027, if ODM say they are going to have their own presidential election, that means there will be watakuwa in challenging I'm focusing. Oh, okay, I'll stay stagnant in one place so I don't move, if that's what you mean in topic. I'm still on topic. I want to connect it. I'm connecting it very quickly. I'm the dot connector, your political dietitian. So subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all that good stuff. Thank you so much. So here it is. Listen to me. So it is clear as day that Raila Odinga was planning on exiting this MOU with Ruto so that he can probably run again in 2027 against Ruto, or choose somebody to run against Ruto in 2027, because Raila alikuwa anaenda na hewa. Raila akiona watu anaenda hivi, anaenda hivi. Akiona watu anaenda hivi, pia anadandia. But anyway, regardless. But Raila now is gone. Okay? Oburu still wants to stick to the stick with Ruto, because Oburu all he cares about is money and Nacheo, okay? Opiyo Wandayi is supporting Oburu because Opiyo Wandayi will be the biggest loser if they get out of this broad-based government. Okay? If Opiyo Wandayi gets out of if ODM gets out of this broad-based government, Opiyo Wandayi, Hassan Joho, Mbadi, and the rest who are in government will lose their position. They will be jobless. And that will mean that they have to go and vie from their people. Yeah? That will mean that they have to go warudi kwa debe to ask for votes again. And they know very well this time Raila is not there to help them. So the probability of them being voted is slim, next to none. Okay? So they don't want that. Now, with this split, who do you think is the biggest beneficiary of this ODM split? Because let me tell you something. Babu Owino and Sifuna most likely are going to the opposition. They are going to the opposition. Let me tell you why. Unakumbuka vile Sifuna started meeting, walienda kuninio kukutana na Kalonzo kwa kanisani hapo Nairobi, and rumors started swirling around that Sifuna might be thinking about leaving. Okay? In fact, watu wakaanza the ODM folks who are ninio ambao wamependa, the ODM folks who are like saying Raila's name, who are hanging on Raila's name, started saying ati Sifuna kama hataki kazi, kana ataka kutoka ODM atoke. Okay? Remember? And Raila had to intervene and beg Sifuna basically, because it was rumors that Sifuna was about to write his resignation letter. Now, remember when Sifuna went to kwa news one of these television shows, akaanza kusema ati, Matiang'i akona skeletons, but if the worst comes to us, we'll put anybody but not Ruto, even if it's Matiang'i, we shall, tuende kwa Matiang'i. You see? So it was rumors that Sifuna was on his way out. Babu Owino, we saw him with Ndindi Nyoro, okay? Ndindi Nyoro, okay? Then, remember Babu Owino when we was at Wipers, delegation, and he declared, he said, it was as if Babu Owino was endorsing Kalonzo Musyoka. And ulikuwa naona vile the people who are surrounding Raila Odinga, the coattails of Raila Odinga, were hanging on Raila's coattails, were saying Babu Owino atoke ODM. They don't want Babu Owino. They are the same people who are actually threatening to beat him up when he goes to Bondo tomorrow. Okay? So you see what I'm saying? Guys, like the video. Everybody who's watching this video, please like the video. Subscribe and share. Subscribe, and like. Please like and subscribe. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say to you is this, in not so many words, because you're wondering, okay, why are you talking about ODM and this broad-based government and how Ruto is dangerous. What do I mean? This is confirming what Gachagua was telling us that Ruto told him. It was a plan all along that Ruto, when he decides to enter into this Ninio, ODM, he will do what Raila always does. Atavunja hiyo party and take it over. And that's exactly what he has been able to do. And that is what Ruto has been able to do, because when the split happens in ODM, wale watu ambao wanajifanya they are staunch supporters of ODM, the old heads who are hanging by their coattails, and the guys who know that they are about to face Ninio, they are not going to face the election, all of them shall turn to Ruto. Wakina Opio Wandai, who are enjoying their governmental seats, okay, who are part of the Ruto's executive branch of government, they will turn and support Ruto. They will campaign for Ruto. And that was the Ruto's plan all along when Raila is off the stage. You understand? That's what I'm saying. Ruto is the biggest beneficiary in all this as far as Ninio. Now, this does not mean that Nyanza province, especially Luo Nyanza, the whole Luo Nyanza shall vote for Ruto. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this had been planned long time ago. So maybe, given the intelligence ambayo wakina Ruto and Gachagua, while he was the DP, they knew about Raila's health, and they knew this guy Umze will not be here for long, or walifanya ile kitu na Raila akaishia. You understand? Those are the two possibilities, because the plan was there. And Gachagua said this before, way before Raila alipata hiyo heart attack na akakufa. He said it. Alisema Ruto alimwambia ati atashikana na mzee, alafu he will take over ODM. And guess what is happening right now? The split that is happening. Who among the ODM bigwigs, people who have the name, who are going to leave? Think about who will leave ODM. The only people who are going to leave ODM are politicians within ODM who have the name ambao wamejitengenezea, that they can actually don't depend on the name of Raila Odinga to win an election. For example, Sifuna. I agree, Lillian. God also have a plan. I'll be reading your comments in an email. Like the video, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Subscribe right now. Don't wait 1 minute. Go ahead and subscribe, okay? So what I'm trying to say is this, okay? All the ODM folks who are not popular in their constituency, okay? The ones that were holding on Raila Odinga because they know they're not popular, hawajaleta maendeleo huko nyumbani, the only thing that was getting them re-elected is because ODM was terrorizing people in their constituency when it comes to elections, okay? And Raila gave them the direct nomination, okay? But they were not popular with the people. So now that Raila is out of the way and is dead, those are the people who will be hanging on, hoping that Oburu becomes takes Raila's position as the whatever chairman of the party or whatever the case is, okay? Chairman of the ODM, okay? That way, because they know Oburu is willing to stick with Ruto up to 2027 and past 2027. So because if ODM sticks with Nani, if Oburu, let's say Oburu is made the chairperson, okay? Let's just assume Raila is buried, siku zikapita, Oburu now is the chairperson of ODM, okay? What will happen is this. Oburu will say that ODM will endorse Ruto as their presidential candidate. And then Oburu and ODM will choose one of their politicians from Luo Nyanza or whatever the case is, watapromisiwa positions in the next government post 2027. You understand? I'll say that one more time. Please, guys, subscribe. There are a lot of people here. Please go ahead and like the video and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Subscribe and like. Please do that very, very, very quickly. I'm giving you 2 minutes to do that. Please, take a moment. I'm giving you 1 minute as I drink my coffee and to subscribe and share and subscribe. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Please do. All you have to do is do this. Pop, subscribe. Finya to your subscribe button and a like button. Okay? And share it with your friends. I will repeat this. I will repeat this one more time, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys, I'm giving you minutes. It's called a subscription break. Mufinye subscribe, sazile na kunywa coffee. Let me take another in your sip of coffee. Sazile mna subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Okay, like I was saying, ODM is already splitting the way we were expecting. Wakina Sifuna and Babu Owino are most likely going to leave ODM because they've been voicing their opinion about the direction that ODM was taking. Even when Baba was here, walikuwa nasema hawasikizani nayo. Okay? They did not agree with the way direction of ODM was going. So they did not renew. So now that Baba is not there, you know, because Raila was the person who was actually keeping them in the charm, with the exception of Babu Owino. Babu Owino was literally gone. Okay? Was already gone. Okay? So these young folks that are strong in their constituency, the Babu Owino, the Sifunas, those guys, they will have their own lineo. Hawata endorse Ruto, wataenda ku-endorse the opposition, especially Babu, because Babu obviously, you know, he wants to run for governor, okay? And if he's running under ODM, which will be reduced to a bunch of old Luo politicians, okay, who are not even popular in their constituency, okay, he will have no reason to stay there. So he will probably attend na kina Kalonzo. Already he endorsed Kalonzo. Alisema Kalonzo is the Otosha. Thank you, Bruce. Like the video, guys. Like the video, subscribe. Okay. Sifuna is on the way out. Sifuna is likable enough. He can run for re-election. I don't know how many times he has served yet, or he can run for whatever the case he wants. Governor in Bungoma, whatever Sifuna wants, the public position that he wants, he can win it. He has it. Okay. Now, like I said, wakina Opio and I, Gladys Wanga, that Suna MP, Junette, Atandi, Sijui Nani, those people are not going to make it. And those are the people who are going to stick with Oburu, who is going to be made the chairperson of the party chairperson. Okay? And they are going to endorse Ruto when it comes to 2027 elections, in the name of, if Ruto wins the re-election, hawa wakina nani, wakina Juneta, wakina Mbadi, wakina Opio Andai, Gladys Wanga, you know, nani, Ruto atawapatia cheo once he wins the elections, once he steals the elections, okay? That will be the promise. And Oburu also. That's why you see they're saying Oburu, Oburu, Oburu. The same thing with Nani, Kasmuel, okay? Because Kasmuel has been talking about youth. Okay, he said he has the anataka to run for a political position. He'll face the people. Whatever constituency he goes, he'll have to face the people. And do you honestly think Kasmuel can win any position? Unaona? Yes, some coastal politicians also watakuwa ninio. So this is going to happen. But all this will do what? Will confirm what Gachagua told us that was the plan all along of William Samoei Ruto, entering into an MOU with Raila Odinga with the aim of taking over the party, because Ruto probably understands that Raila was on his way out, whether through natural death or walikuwa nampangia kumfanyia ile kitu, or Raila was going to be bought and he was going to Ninio. But Raila, of course, Raila was not going to be Ninio, was not going to endorse Ruto because Raila alikuwa napimanga aware akiona enyewe I'm on the wrong side of history. Hata unakumbuka when people really were not happy about Ninio. People were not happy about Raila joining the Ninio broad base. He kept on coming out to the press conference trying to Ninio justify the reasons why he had to enter into agreement with UDA. Then the bombshell is when he said, "Who told you ODM will not present a presidential candidate?" That told Ruto that wachana. So, what am I coming to? How am I bringing it together? Like I told you, I'm your political dietitian. How is this coming together? This is part of the plan. Ruto will control information by using the cyber crime law bill that he assigned to law. If you say something, voices of dissent shall be silenced, and he will digitally surveil you. So ukisema vitu mbaya mbaya juu ya serikali ya Ruto, he will find out where you are. He will use his friend from Safaricom, the way they were doing, how they were catching Gen Z. So nakumbuka vile Gen Z walikuwa wanachukuliwa and we were wondering how is Ruto locating people and abducting them. Na watu wanapotea. Okay? Digital surveillance. So ukisema kitu, wanakutrack, wanaenda wanakuchukua, unalipa 20 million, which you know you don't have it. So unapelekwa jela 10 years. Unaona? That's a way how to silence dissent. Okay? Then there will be also psychological manipulation through psyops. Through what? Psyops. Utaona ataweka fake opposition hapa. Ani anasema we are cooked. We are not cooked, Ani. Gen Z iko. Wacha wanangoja huyo mzee yake kwa ground ndio mambo yanze. Ndio sasa mambo yanze vizuri. Like I told you, the general expectation is now is the time for Gen Zs to rise again. That's why I started by telling you the number one thing that caught my eye today in Mamboleo in Jomo Kenyatta Stadium when the body of Raila Odinga was being brought for viewing was the number of the military officers, soldiers that were on the ground that were being used to control the crowd. Because, like I mentioned, this is a stress test for what Ruto is expecting after Raila is put in the ground. You can already hear people in the Unio on the mtandao saying, wacha mzee aekwe kwa ninio, mzee aekwe kwa ground, alafu maandamano. Because this is worse than the finance bill. And again, like I was telling you, the internet ni kamkunji ya Gen Z, ya vijana. That's where people communicate. That's where people express themselves. Okay? Evans, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. So this is connected. So Ruto has total control of ODM because now he will have Oburu as his ally and Oburu will endorse him. Oburu along with all those Raila orphans. Wale wengine ambao kichwa ngumu watamwacha waende opposition. He's not worried about the opposition. What Ruto is afraid of is Gen Z. Gen Zs are the new Raila Odinga. So Gen Zs have to speak with one voice. Gen Zs, by Gen Zs, I'm not talking about just the age group. I'm talking about Gen Zote, the people of Kenya who are sick and tired of the system of oppression that is being led by William Samoei Ruto. Unaelewa? That's what I mean. Yes. Maandamano ya already set for 21st Tuesday. It is protest against cyber bill. Absolutely. Ndio huyo. Haya. Evank Buyo nani anatuambia maandamano iko ndio mnaona saizi. I told you guys. It wasn't going to take long. It was not going to take long. Maandamano yenyewe tumeshaambiwa. Okay? So maandamano ndio tunaambiwa on Tuesday 21st cyber crime bill inaenda chini, maandamano. And that's why I'm telling you guys, the use of the military to go control use to control the crowd in Kisumu during the Raila's memorial, whatever the case is, viewing of the body, was a stress test to what they expect to happen this coming weeks or this coming months or this coming days, because they're expecting a maandamano against these bills that Ruto alipitisha watu kama wanalilia Raila. Okay, when people are mourning Raila, okay, he was busy pushing these bills. Guys, subscribe. Naona likes hazijatosha hapa bana. Sinimfikishia likes 100. Kwa nini mnanyima likes? How are you guys behaving bana? Niko na likes kidogo hapa, hebu wekeni like. I want to see 100 likes hizi. Finyeni likes bana. Mnaangalia, I'm sweating like a Baptist preacher here and mnanipatia likes. So that is what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. So these are the things that Ruto is vulnerable, but he's extremely, mnanisikia? Extremely dangerous. Watu wataanza kupotea na watu wataanza kuuliwa, because he has to create that fear. Okay? He has passed the laws to justify his criminal. Unajua laws inapitishwa, laws that are unconstitutional, to justify ile mauaji ambayo inakuja. Thank you, Evans Bunde. And please make sure you subscribe. Guys, subscribe ni jamani. Namna gani bana? Subscribe. I want to see some subscriptions yani hapo juu. Nataka watu wote hapo ambao wanaangalia kwa X, go to YouTube. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. Naona watu wanajaribu kufanya ile vitu, but we are good. Guys, subscribe. So what I'm saying, so vile nimesema, let me read your comments right now. So it's time for comment reading very quickly, and I'll nisome comment. And you can comment hapo, nisome ma comments zenu hapo very quickly. Okay? Haya, tuanze na nani? Sorry guys. Kuna mtu alikuwa ameni I'm being attacked, so sorry guys. Watu wa Ruto wameingia, they are doing is wananifanyia ile kitu. Subscribe guys, subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I'll leave it here because I see we have to be bold. Yes, Don Kim anasema we have to be bold this time. Absolutely, we have to be bold this time. Don Kim ameingia, karibu Don Kim, I see you. Nani mwingine ako hapa hivi? I'm reading your comments. I'm reading your comments real quick. Yeah. It's so hard because ni nio yangu mazee. Naona watu wa Ruto wameingia wanafanya kazi yao. But thank you so much guys. Like the video. Okay, as we finish, ladies and gentlemen, Annie, nice seeing you. Don Kim, nice seeing you. Lillian Amondi, thank you so much. Everybody that's watching, I have to finish it here, unfortunately, because I know it's Saturday. Watu wa Arsenal najua mnalewa, na wale watu ambao wanaenda mazishi kesho kwa Raila, kukuzika Raila pia najua wako ready, wamevaa masuti yao and all that stuff. Guys, do not forget, subscribe, please take a minute. Hata usingoje unimalize ndio subscribe. Watching from Seattle, okay. Watching from Seattle, nice seeing you. Subscribe basi Melanie. I'll come to Seattle very soon. Sio mbali. Nikuje West Coast kidogo, nitoke Seattle, Washington, niende Pokali kidogo. California niko na watu wangu huko kidogo, nishuke huko. Nice seeing you. Nixie, kitaka Hinda, nice seeing you. All right. What next for Munyoro? That's an interesting question. I'll bring that. Actually, that will be my next video. What next for Wamunyoro now that Raila is gone? What does it mean for Wamunyoro? That's my next video. How about that? Okay? So if you're a Wamunyoro supporter or whatever the case is, I'll tie that in. Thank you so much, guys. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Mina wangoja nawapatia 1 minute to subscribe. Subscribe kabla hujatoka. Subscribe. If you're on X, please follow me on X. I'm giving you 1 minute sazile na CP coffee. It's a subscription break. Inaitwa subscription break. Subscribe nangoja. Okay? Haya basi. Thank you so much guys for watching. Whether you're from Seattle, Washington, whether you're from Kenya, in Kismayu, Bondo, Nairobi, Kisauni in Mombasa, Australia, England, London, whatever. Thank you so much. Subscribe. And again, thank you so much. Naona kani niyo yangu it's delaying. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later. Ama tuonane kesho. Peace and blessings. I'm out.